At a time when everyone is struggling to repay mortgages and cope with the high cost of living, the dream of buying your own island is just that, a dream. But not for one lucky buyer who must have a very healthy bank balance.
This is called the island with no name.
It doesn't have a name?
It has absolutely no name at all. When you buy it, if you own it, you can name it yourself.
Scott Wagner has the job of selling this no-name island just off Queensland's Fraser Coast.
It's about 200 metres to the mainland by tinny or boat, 8 minutes north of Hervey Bay by air, or 3.5 hours north by road from Brisbane.
So it's isolated, but it's not remote.
I'd like to say it's a great place for a bipolar recluse because you can come here, be totally on your own, but you're only 200 metres from the hotel.
So Scott, what do you get if you buy the island?
Well, first up, you get over 1 kilometre of airstrip, big enough to land a jet. You get 23 hectares of solitude if you want an island this big, and you also get your own barge, which you can bring your car over if you wish.
Of course, this island wasn't always an island. It used to be part of the mainland until the river changed its course 75 years ago and it became separated, making it a much more valuable piece of real estate. Just how valuable, the agent won't tell us.
Well, that's what we're about to find out. It's, I mean, let me ask you the question. What would you be delighted to own of that?
I don't know that I've got the resources, but we must be looking at least over $1 million for this place. Let's face it, a couple of $1 million.
We really don't know where it sits. It's a genuine attempt to find someone who wants to own it.
What we do know is the current owner paid $1.3 million for it 5 years ago. But since then, he's built 2 houses, one of which he lets out to artists and, on occasions, nudists.
We're all only a slip away from being nudists here ourselves if we wish. There's absolutely no one will see us. No cameras.
So you can do what you like, basically?
You can do anything you like.
Who do you see buying a place like this?
Well, there'll be 2 extremes. Obviously, you can still use it as a reclusive residence. Some of the inquiry have been people who specifically want to get away. But the other side, or the other end of that extreme, would be a visionary or someone who sees the development potential.
It has its own power supply, its own water, and an abundance of wildlife.
You get 15 huge redback kangaroos, which obviously you don't own, but you cohabitate with them. Seagulls, dolphins, whales, you have to see it to believe it.
So if you owned this piece of paradise, why would you want to sell? Apparently the current owner, who is a recluse, bought it 5 years ago to get away from the world. Now he's decided the world is getting a little too close, so he's bought a luxury yacht and plans to live at sea.
Just not far enough away.
He really does want to get out there in the middle of the ocean.
Yes, he's got something not quite this big, but it's pretty big, and he'll be sitting in the middle of the ocean in not long.
There's interest from overseas. One potential buyer is even coming for a sleepover to get a feel for the place.
We call it island fever.
Is that code for a good time?
It's code that there's no taxi rank, so where you finish up is where you sleep.
Well, start preparing your bids. That special piece of paradise goes to auction in Brisbane on November 14. Well, we can all dream. After the break, the grandmother's taking the business world by storm.
Beautiful skin starts with nature.